My hot take is the movie is incredibly average. That's my hot take. Should we start over? Council Pop.
Yes, our first episode, our first Council Pop in 8 months. I'll send you $50 if you can tell me what the last movie we did for a Council Pop was.
Roadhouse?
Joker 2. Close. I would have guessed Roadhouse 2. It's been a while.
I felt really confident. Confident.
It's been a while, but these Council Pops are tough because they're quick turnaround. But this time, you and I, Hollywood insiders that we are, inside screening for advanced screening of Superman.
Yes, we saw it the Tuesday before it came out on the Friday. Is it Friday?
Yeah. So as you're watching this, it's probably just coming out. We saw it several days ago because we're part of this high-end movie critical Amazon Prime subscriber list, and
very
able
special
to check out the film.
Very special.
Yes. All right, Keith. This is an episode of Council Pop. So for those the uninitiated, and you and I who may have forgotten, 60 seconds on the clock. I mean, we're gonna need.
I hate this.
We're gonna need some reactions. Keith, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'm gonna go first.
Keith's going first.
Because I feel like I already know what you're gonna say.
I see. You never know. You never know. But I'm excited to hear what you have to say because, per usual, could be either extreme.
Could be anything. Could be anything.
6 seconds on clock.
Here we go. Ready? Go. I feel like there are 3 ways that you can measure the success of this film. 1, you can measure it by the superhero films of the last 5 years, sort of just the general climate of superhero movies that have happened as of late. And with that in mind, I say this is one of the better films, superhero films, comic book films that have happened as of late. Then you could just measure it as a movie in general. Like, how is this as just a general movie? And I feel like that answer is very, very average, like the most average film you could get. And then there's the third way that you could measure this movie, and it's by its box office success. And I do not think this movie is going to turn a profit with how much budget they have spent on the film and the marketing. So with 2 out of the 3 of those being on more the negative side, I feel like overall, this is not going to work out for anybody.
But did you like it, Keith? This is the hot take.
That is my hot take. My hot take is the movie is incredibly average. That's my hot take. Should we start over? My hot take is this movie is as mediocre as it could be. It is incredibly forgettable. And maybe that's unfair by coming in with sort of high expectations, feeling the pressure of this film. That I think that this film has. And I just think it is, I go, okay, it's not terrible, but it's also, it didn't wow me in any sense of the word.
Fair, Keith, fair. I'm going to try to figure out how to say the exact same thing slightly differently in my 60 seconds, okay? This is talent.
Welcome to the show.
It didn't used to be like this. 60 seconds on the clock. So the word that comes to mind as I think about Superman 2025 is just disappointing. I think it is fine. I think as an experience, going to the movies, watching a movie, it was fine. It was, once I surrendered myself over to the vibe and the tone, which admittedly took me a little while to really grasp, it was fine. It was just like, oh, this is kind of fun. Had some laughs, genuinely laughed 4 times out loud. But it is not remotely as good as I expected, and it is not remotely as good as I think it needed to be. Because you say the word pressure, and I think that perhaps, almost certainly, there's no film of 2025 that's under more pressure to deliver at a very high level than Superman, the rebirth of the new DCU. I expected more from James Gunn. I expected more out of this film. And as you mentioned, it is just very much like a totally fine, average superhero flick. But if you're trying to reset a decade of incompetence and you were trying to it brings nothing new. It brings nothing new to this genre. And like you said, is very forgettable. We'll continue.
It's very, I mean, there are so many things that I want to say within what we've already just said.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you truly want to start, but I think it's just as average as a film could be.
Yeah. I mean, I was genuinely pretty excited going into this film, but only and maybe that's unfair. I don't think, but it's because of my expectations, because I have faith in James Gunn, and I have faith in James Gunn's ability to understand what a big deal this is. Like, I know that it's a big deal to him. It's a big deal to Warner Brothers. It's a big deal to the shareholders. Like, it's a big deal to get this right. This is their quote unquote Iron Man. You know, like, this is the reset. This is their main hero that's going to start the next chapter of this DC film, make us all forget about the incompetence of Joss Whedon's Justice League and the Snyderverse and the inconsistencies and the studio interference and all that noise. But like, this movie is just like, okay, it has some high points, it has some low points, and then it's just like a lot of CGI fighting, like CGI mess fighting that it doesn't really matter. And I don't know, like, it's tough.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be the public opinion. I don't think there's a real hot take on this movie. I think this is just what it is.
But I kind of think this is sort of a hot take, because the Rotten Tomatoes anyway is 85%. Like, it seems to be critically appreciated, at least to a degree.
I think it's going to come down. I don't know how many. It's early. It's still early.
It's still early because we got those advanced seats.
We had those advanced. We're special.
Our guy
this
Bezos.
movie to. Thank you, Lord Bezos. This movie, maybe this is a good way to start because I feel like you're touching on it. This movie feels like, to me, the sequel to a film that didn't come out, and because you were really thrust in the middle of it, I feel like I can see a lot of the intent behind it. I feel like they are hedging their bets in both ways to land in this middle gray area that is not like, just swing for it. Like, just go for it. I feel like they, again, is a sequel to a movie that didn't come out because they say, hey, we've already had origin stories. We don't need to like start over. We don't need to see Superman come to Earth or whatever. Like, just jump in, be into the action, which they do. So I see that side of it, but there's not enough context within this movie and this universe to make me really wrap my arms around what's going on. It's all very new. Not that it rests a lot on the lore of like you just knowing that Superman and Lois Lane actually love each other and they're meant to be together. The film does no real groundwork on like establishing that. They just like kiss one time and then they want to break up for 2 hours. Like, it doesn't do a lot of that because they're saying you already know all this. You know this already. But then on the flip side, so they want to be in the middle of it, but they do nothing to really kick off the universe. Because this film has to do two things. It has to be a good movie and tell a Superman story, but it's got to be this jumping off point for the universe. So it's not an origin story for him per se, but the universe as a whole. And it does nothing on that front because I think they're scared to commit to a future plan because they're waiting to see. They're waiting to be like, do people like this? Do people embrace this? Are people into this? And they didn't want to go too far one way, but they didn't want to really reset. So we're in this middle gray area that kind of just goes, meh. That's how I kind of feel. Maybe a better hot take? I don't know.
No, you lose me there. You had me for most of that. But you lose me at the end of like, this film is too scared to venture too far into the introducing a new world or a new universe. Because that to me is one of the bigger flaws of the film, is that it's so crowded and convoluted with, like, I wish it had just felt like it could be a Superman story. And I'm fine with it not being a quote unquote origin story. I'm fine coming in halfway in. We all get the general background and it's going to reference that, and that's fine. But like, having Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern, and the Justice Gang, and all of these other characters already be sort of this such an established part of what's going on in the story, like, and needing to feel like you have to introduce all of that stuff, like, that's very unnecessary. And I'm going to compare this film a few times in this episode, I'm sure, to Iron Man, which may or may not be fair. And I don't personally hold Iron Man on some great plateau, some great, fucking pedestal. But like, James Gunn has referenced, I believe, like it has been referenced that this is sort of the new DCU's Iron Man, this launching. And it's like, you go back and you look at Iron Man, and it was a very self-contained story. And it did not feel the need to interweave all of these other universal components into the main narrative of the film. The main narrative of the film is a personal story of Tony Stark, and his character development. And that is not what this film is at all. As just a quick aside here, I went through and I made a list of the amount of characters in this film that you have to be sort of concerned with or aware of or following their arc at all. And I got 18, including Crypto the dog. 18 characters that you need to sort of juggle and be keeping straight in your head. And then I went and looked at Iron Man and I got 6, maybe 7. That to me is the one of the major failings of this film, is that it tries so hard to be this launch pad for all of this stuff instead of just being, hey, this is about Superman, this is about Clark Kent and his struggle with his own identity.
Yes, I agree. I think that speaks to my sort of first part of my point, is that they're assuming you're going to know a lot of this stuff, and the movie does no actual sort of legwork to make it feel more earned, or that I'm along for the ride. And I can give a lot of examples, but to clarify what I was trying to say about not doing enough for teasing, not even teasing, but setting up the bigger universe. It's not just introducing characters. That's not necessarily what I mean, but I have no idea where this is going or how this may amount to anything. Because I believe the secret sauce here is what Marvel has lost and what DC cannot do, is sort of the epic saga of it all. I think people don't need to see individual, generally speaking. There are comic book fans who, yes, but I think that the $1 billion box office come around the things connecting, the interconnectivity, these things that build to the giant crossover events, the stepping stones. It's treated almost more like a TV show where I have to watch this whole season and I get the finale rather than just this one story. This one thing is the thing that makes me come to the... So I say, yeah, it's got a bunch of characters in it, but I think the biggest example of it, the post-credit scenes, not sort of opening this universe up a little bit. You got 2 garbage post-credit scenes that mean nothing to the future. It's not like Lex Luthor in jail being like, I'm plotting my next thing, and Batman walks in or something. And I don't need some big cameo from Batman, but I'm just saying, to me, that's the prime example of how they're afraid to be like, no. There's a whole universe at play here, and all these things are coming. Just wait. So yeah, I'm not excited to see the next thing. I'm not excited to see the next thing.
But I think the reason, if I may be so bold, the reason you're not excited to see the next thing is that you don't really care about this thing. There was nothing here to really care about. And so you talk about how the draw of what Marvel has lost and what DC has never been able to do is sort of this epic saga building. I think what Marvel has lost and what DC has always been unable to do is something you talk about a lot of other films, is just very basic character development. And I don't think fans, whether they know it or not, care as much about, oh, this is all building towards this great epic conclusion, as they do about just caring about these individual characters. Iron Man made us care about Tony Stark. Captain America made us care about Steve Rogers. These actors playing these roles. That's why we're invested when they all start to come together and deal with, issues much larger than themselves. This movie does not focus on that, and to me focuses on way too much. There's too many characters, there's too many conflicts, there's too much just shit happening all the time, and it's at the expense of what I think are the better parts of this film, which to me, my favorite scene, what I thought was the best scene, was Lois interviewing Clark Kent at the beginning in the apartment. You get to learn so much about their characters. I thought the writing was really great. Her saying, how do you think this is going? And him saying well, I think I'm doing a great job. It's it's funny and it's endearing. And it's like compelling. It's emotionally compelling, much more so than anything else that was happening when they're fighting in the river of pixels, or the fucking flying CGI dog, or the clone, just like all that shit is just noise. But you have all this other stuff you feel like you need to introduce at the expense of, like, really, I think the main expense of Lois Lane, of this main character that really only gets like a scene or two to like do anything. And that's a failing. Like, I want my overarching point is, like, James Gunn was tasked with a very difficult task of rebooting this whole Universal franchise. And, like, I understand it's not gonna be what it was, and I understand you want to make it a new thing. You're going to take it this new direction that's a little more colorful, a little more humorous, a little more kitschy, I would say. But, like, that doesn't mean that all has to be at the expense of just, like, good storytelling. Like, there's a way to do this in a new, fresh way that doesn't necessarily have to be, like, dark and brooding like the Snyderverse. Just be thorough. And this film feels very superficial and just checking the boxes of, like, fun superhero movie, right? Fun movie, right, guys?
Yeah. No, I think I really agree with you more than I agree with me, but I still think I'm right too.
That's all I ever want, Keith.
But it is, yeah. No, I think it's well said. I think your points are valid, and that when you say that, it makes me think the approach may be just getting back to the core audience. And you and I are probably not the core audience, although I think we should be. But I don't think this is for, like, comic book lovers, people who grew up with cartoons and loved sort of the evolution of the character throughout their lives. It is campy, it's silly, it's goofy, it's like almost for kids, but adult enough to get some of the adult. So where you and I may put more emphasis on, like, the actual filmmaking of it, the other people may just lean into, be like, yeah, I'm glad that we fast forwarded to this point, and I know who Green Lantern is, and I know who Mr. Terrific is, and I have I know that Superman and Lois Lane are truly soulmates and in love, and that's going to work out just fine, and I already invest emotionally in that relationship, So, but you and I feel like, I'll speak for myself here. I had a hard time giving credit to credit for the film for things it didn't do, but other people may say it exists already. So they're taking their other connections with it and filling in those blanks. I was watching a video from our good friend Ryan Airy over at Screen Crush.
Yeah, shout out Ryan Airy.
Yeah, which I'm a fan of the channel. I love his breakdowns. I love his insight. It's good stuff just to, like, listen to. But I watched one of the videos and I turned it off after 2 minutes because he was going. I turned it off very quickly because he went so deep into things that were not in the film. I can only judge this what I see on the screen, not what is just in lore. In the comic books, in episode, like page 152 on comic book 7, like, I watched this movie. This movie doesn't do the work for me to invest.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
And we're looking at it maybe from that lens, and they're looking at it a different lens, and that may be the direction the studio's going for those people, not for us people.
Yeah, I have several issues of which I'll get to of that. I'm just like, yo, this is like. It's a delicate balancing act, I'm sure, of, like, trying to, because, like we talked about, you come in the middle of the action, you're presuming that the audience has a certain level of knowledge about certain things, and that's fine. Like, I'm on board with that. But then there are other elements that when they become, like, a central crux of your own plot of this film that are dependent upon outside knowledge, that to me is like a major failing. We'll come back to that. Little tease for the people. What did you think about overall? I'm curious. I'm curious about, like, the overall tone. Okay, so the tone of the film. My takeaway was, like, it was. I looked up. You all should be proud. I'm trying to do some self-improvement here. I reference a lot of things that I think are, like, kind of intentionally hammy and corny as camp, and I think they are actually kitsch. which I learned the difference today, that camp is more self-aware than kitsch. They're similar, but often misused. Whereas kitsch is just like this sort of like elevated, exaggerated reality for the sake of like, entertainment. It's not quite self-aware, but it's just like, hey, we're doing a thing. And everyone in this movie, I would say for the most part, some more than others, I point you immediately to most of the other reporters at the Daily Planet. They're doing a bit. Like there is an over-exaggerated bit, and the world itself, I mean, it's Metropolis, it's Gotham City, it's a fake world, it's Baravia or whatever, it's countries that don't exist. So it's sort of like an altered reality, like almost, it's obviously not a literal usage of the term uncanny valley, but it's a little bit, it's just like everything's kind of real, but kind of not. Like it's modern, but a lot of the tech and shit looks kind of 70s, because I know it's sort of an intentional throwback to the time of the original Richard Donner Superman film, 1978. So like, I get that that's kind of the aesthetic and vibe, and I get that it's kind of trying to be a return to like more happy, optimistic, human-centric, human kindness superheroes, and that's fine too. But there was a little bit to me that was difficult to digest. It took me like a half hour to really like get into like, okay, like I just have to let go of like reality because this isn't the real world at all. And that, and just historically, like personally, my own taste, I struggle with that a little bit. Like I find the references to fictional bands, like the Mighty Crabjoys and the Pods or whatever, like confusing more than I find them to be funny. Like I wish those were just real bands, so then I could understand it was a joke. Because in the moment I'm like, is this a joke because he's wrong about the names of the bands, or is it a joke because these are fake bands I'm supposed to know about? Like all of that stuff. What did you think about that kind of that tonal energy?
Yeah, I mean, it feels very James Gunn. Yeah, it feels like that's his thumbprint on this, and it was a fear of mine going into it if it would be too much, and I think it's my taste. I don't mean to be critical for the sake of critical. I'll blame myself. It's not for me. Like I don't enjoy it. I agree with you when you say one of the better scenes is that first argument between Lois and Clark. It feels real. It feels authentic. It seems like something I can like not relate to like personally, but what I'm saying, like have a relationship with and have an understanding with, and it makes Clark Kent feel more human and more tangible, more like real. Yeah. And I like that style to these superhero movies because they are so fantastical. It's my biggest. I've said this for years now, is not fully understanding the stakes, not fully understanding the tech, not, this person can do that now. And the best case in point of that, for me, is when Lex Luthor was able to create a pocket dimension. It's like, he can just do that. He can just rip fabric of time and space, and just like, I was unaware of that, and maybe I sound like foolish to people who live and breathe the comics, but I had no idea that was like in his bag of capabilities when we first met him. Like I just thought he's an eccentric billionaire who's smart and uses his power to manipulate people and money. Just like, where is this coming from? So I digress a bit, but all of it feels very hard to wrap my arms around, and I did have to get used to it. I wish it was a little bit more grounded and a little bit more based in a reality that I could understand. I'm sure I sound stupid, but
I found myself, and this will probably be unpopular, and certainly in some circles, but like not longing for the Snyderverse, but just like, because that's like hyper grounded, right? Like, quote unquote, it's like gritty for the sake of gritty and brutal for the sake of brutal. And it's like, I don't need that. Like I can accept a new direction, but like I need some sort of like quote unquote, objective reality, like something to grab onto that I can feel like there are some kind of stakes. Because for folks that might be watching this or listening to this and think like, these guys suck, blah, 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 which, we do. But about this particularly, fair. I would say, like, honestly, ask yourself, like, did you ever think at any point in this film that anything bad was going to happen? Like, did you ever feel genuine concern or worry? Because I bet you no. Like, I bet you not. Like, at no point, and I don't mean like, did you think Superman was gonna die? Because like, of course Superman's not gonna die. But like, did you ever think that shit wasn't just gonna work out totally fine and rosy and there's gonna be jokes about everything along the way? Like, at no point, even when he's getting beat up by his clone or, you know, whatever the fuck was happening, like, you're just kind of like, okay, like this is just, you know, more CGI colors and it's gonna be fine. And the whole world splits in half where oceans are sinking into this crack into a parallel dimension, but it just gets sewn back up and everything's fine.
I hated that.
You know, like that shit is just
that.
like again, we don't have to dive so deep into science. I am personally not a scientist, maybe a surprise to some of you, but like, yo, that crack was open for what, half an hour? Like the ocean was sinking it, like the world is fucked forever. Like, what? How are you recovering? It's not just as simple as like lining the buildings up properly at the like.
I hate that was how easy it was. Just like, nope, didn't happen.
Just close it. Just
didn't
close
happen.
it.
We typed in some numbers or whatever, and it just
you had to hack it.
That
had
was,
to hack the fucking crater, the interdimensional crater.
Yeah, it just maybe to better answer your question, because I feel like I went off on a rant, but I think the biggest form of kitsch, and I do want to get your opinion on it. And thank you for clarifying kitsch and camp. I feel like I do the same thing.
I'm doing my best.
I was like, this is just very campy.
Yeah.
But maybe more kitschy. How did you feel about the dog?
Well, the dog is
because
one of...
to me, that was enemy number one of this.
Crypto. I have 3 big complaints of this film, if I'm just going to narrow them all down. One of them is the dog, but it's not just that the dog was in the movie, and it's not just that it was entirely for the, 99.9% CGI, which to me is distracting and takes away from the emotion of the moment. The dog jumping on her lap while she's driving the spaceship, that's very cute. It's very relatable. Yeah. It's very sweet. A real dog, you could get a real dog to sit on her lap for that scene, and then it's a lot more it's a lot more emotionally viable. Anyways, I think the dog is such a fucking scapegoat throughout this movie that, okay, the film opens with the dog saving him. The dog saves him at least 2 more times, maybe 3, at like critical moments. Not just helps him out, not just comes in to like help sway a fight. Saves the day. Okay? And then
the 2 most important times in the film.
Yes.
Well, 3.
Yes.
So in the beginning, the middle, and obviously the climax. Without the dog, he dies.
Our protagonist is not winning without this dog, who it is revealed is not his dog, and he's just dog sitting for and happened to be there. What does that tell us about our protagonist? That he kind of sucks? That he's not, like, what's his arc? If he's not able to beat the demon, to win the day without the lucky intervention of a borrowed pet, like that sucks. That sucks. That's poor writing.
Yeah. Speaking of dogs,
she just got heated about that. Jolene got mad.
She's right. I agree with her.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to that makes me think of an additional point. I feel like Superman never has his Superman moment because he comes in crippled, like he comes in beaten to death. Words on the screen, he lost his first fight. Like, we meet him at a low point, which makes sense for filmmaking. You want to meet your characters on maybe their worst day, and you see them climb back up to, like, I get it. But at no point, like, he continues to lose the whole time, and the dog bails him out time and time again. Like, so then I kept thinking, like, all right, great. There's going to be this big payoff at the end where we finally see him. I was honestly waiting for a Bring Me Thanos moment with Superman. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite moments in all cinema history. we saw the film together, but in Infinity War, when Thor comes down, you see him struggle, you know everything he has lost, you know how important this moment is to him. It's not an amazing moment because like it's cool, which it is, but it's because you have the frame of reference of how much Thor has hurt and lost. To bring him to that moment where he feels now ready, and you want him to have his moment, and you feel it. You bring me that. You feel it.
Yeah.
I feel like Superman does not. It followed that same sort of trope. He's losing. It's tough. He's not so dominant. He's not this perfect angel that you've always thought he's always be. And the dog saves the day.
Yeah.
He barely makes it out. Like I don't think he ever had that real moment in a moment that mattered. He fought.
Yeah, he never learned a lesson that led to him winning the day.
Yeah,
I mean, there was the brain versus brawn. Like, what did he say? Like, brain beats brawn. And then he whistles for the dog. Like, I'm sorry if I'm being dense, but I still don't understand that. Like, what did that? Was it because you were smart enough to remember you had a dog? Like, honestly, I don't know what that meant. I don't know what that meant.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Moving forward, Keith, as we before I get to my other two main issues, do you want to talk about some positive things, and then we'll come back to negativity?
We should probably talk about some positives. I would like to.
Okay.
I thought two things. They're related, but still separate and deserve their own credit. I thought the casting was very good. I really liked the casting decisions. I thought everybody felt the part. I bought in with everybody, and I thought the performances were pretty good across the board. To me, the best performance was Nicholas Hoult. I thought he was the best.
Wow.
I thought he was the best. I really enjoyed his performance. Really subtle, but convincing. Not too over the top, not too cartoony. Powerfully understated. And I thought most of his stuff was like in a green screen. Like most of his stuff was him just like communicating through a radio. Mm-hmm. He was probably just like in a room by himself, probably. Like, I don't know how much he like had to work with other people. He was talking to Superman through like an intercom they only had one or two scenes
B6,
at most.
K27.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was a bit silly, but I thought his performance and thinking about how difficult it might have actually been to perform with the nature of the CGI and the blue screens and whatnot.
Yeah.
I thought he was a real standout for the film.
Yeah, I like Nicholas Hoult a lot. It's funny that you highlight him because to me it was just like, it almost bordered on cartoonish for me once or twice. But like, I'm fine with that. Like, to me, that's the way the film was, right? Like, he was directed to be that way. I think really I think David Corenswet.
It's a weird.
He's great. He was a great Superman. He suits that role more so like Henry Cavill. Is a very attractive man. Corenswet has a more like endearing kind of depth to him. Like, it might just literally be his voice is deeper. But like, there's something about like he's a perfect Superman, and I think he does a great job. I think he handles the Clark Kent stuff well. I really was impressed with him. I thought like they found the right guy for that. I thought Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane was totally fine. Totally like got the eagerness and the sort of like, edginess, and just like she's a go-getter. She's trying to get things done. She's, like, I get that. I like that. So I agree overall. And Nicholas Hoult overall, I agree. I feel bad for the guy because he always wants to be the hero. He wanted to be Superman, and he makes him Lex Luthor, that sucks. But it was like, it's all good. I thought all the performances were good within this world. Like, Superman and Lois Lane were the ones that got to have the most like range, a little more nuance, whereas I thought everyone else, as I referenced the other Daily Planet employees earlier, was like really ratcheted up in that sort of like kitschy campiness, whatever you want to say. Like everyone's doing a bit, everyone's being kind of silly and exaggerated. But I thought those main two characters were good. Like, they casted well. I agree.
Yeah. That was to me the standout of the film.
And of course, I would say Mr. Terrific. I thought as a character,
he was great.
Mr. Terrific was a highlight, if not the highlight. Really, really great performance, and he had probably at least, 4 of the 7 laugh out loud moments for me. I thought he was just like a good time, well written, fun, cool. The sequence of him beating up all those people outside while she's in the force field.
In the bubble.
It was great. It was great superhero stuff.
He was great. I would like to, I apologize for not mentioning him as well. I thought he was great. Super fun.
Yeah. All right, I'm looking at my notes here. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but like that's kind of the end of my positivity. It's like performances were fun.
Too. That was that.
And the script had funny parts. And I mentioned the scene I really liked, which was the argument scene, the interview scene between Lois and Clark.
I do remember a handful of times laughing out loud. Just like, yeah, that's really funny. The theater was having a good time for most of it. But I can't tell you a joke.
Yeah.
I can't remember a thing to tell you that I liked. I just remember that I did laugh.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie feels like to me. It's just like, yeah, it was fine. I didn't hate it, but I will not remember it.
Yeah, I'll probably never watch it again.
I'll never watch it. Maybe on a plane.
Yeah,
if I'm on a plane and it's on.
Yeah.
It feels like a plane movie for me.
Yeah.
I laughed if it was on TV.
When Beck Bennett, when they got on the spaceship and he goes, "Why don't I have a seat?" Like that was funny. Like I think Beck Bennett is very funny, and I'm happy to see Beck Bennett in stuff. But I also think he was underutilized and also shoehorned in, as most of those reporters were. Like it didn't make any sense to me. Okay, you want my other two big hiccups? You tell me. Defend this, Keith, you piece of shit.
I will.
Here's my lesser of the two. And it goes back to a point you made before about like the needing to know knowledge ahead of time or outside of the world of this film. Why do women love Jimmy Olsen? Okay? And that's not just a funny little aside in the film that can be explored later. The fact that beautiful supermodel level women love Jimmy Olsen is kind of key to the entire plot, because Lex Luthor's girlfriend...
Not kind of, it is.
Lex Luthor's girlfriend, who is played by a literal Victoria's Secret angel, is so obsessed with Jimmy Olsen that the actor Skylar Gisondo, no disrespect, is now the most like sought after, horned after guy in the world. And it's never referenced. It's never explained, right? Like, why is that a thing that is so serious enough that she is going to betray and risk her life to deliver this secretive data?
I think it honestly goes back to what you made me think of, is that like this is. It's just meant to be fun and silly and not taken seriously. It's more for comic book lovers, and it's more for, like, it feels very childlike. Like, wouldn't it be funny if the dog did everything? Wouldn't it be funny if this ex-girlfriend was just, like, so obsessed with him? I mean, it's the same bit from the other guys.
I'm Dr. Sheila Gamble, his wife.
Come on, seriously, who is that?
His old lady.
Sweetie, it's a workstation.
That Will Ferrell is so
where they
appealing.
all love Will Ferrell. Like every woman on earth loves Will Ferrell.
Yeah, but obviously it's a very different kind of movie.
Well, that's my point. That's my point. It's just meant to be funny, and to me that's like the worst kind of funny. It's just like because I think it's funny, because wouldn't that be hilarious if, you know what I'm saying? It's just a shitty joke. And unfortunately for the film, it makes it one of the most important parts of the film. You know, like it just doesn't.
That makes zero sense. And I get like some people might be yelling at their screens right now. They're like, oh, it's sort of like my understanding anyway. I literally tried to research this today. I was like, why do women love Jimmy Olsen so much? And that's how I got to see all this background information. But to me, there's no clear-cut answer. And it's more that just like over the course of his comic book history, he has like dated a ton of like beautiful comic book character women. And so it's sort of become this in-joke amongst comic book fans that that's a thing. But it's like, I'm just like a casual viewer watching this movie. That's a mistake. Like, why if your plot is going to hinge on women finding this average-looking young man attractive, as he's so fine, the interns are whispering about him at the newspaper, like, you need to offer some kind of explanation. Otherwise, that doesn't mean anything. And then it's just funny, and then it's just a comedy. It's like, but that's not what we're doing here, right? This isn't just a slapstick comedy where things don't make sense because that's funny. No.
But that's what I think. That's what the rest of us are left with, and that's why I just go back to like, this film isn't for us. It's for the people who are on the inside that know that and find that fun and are just like, it's fan service for a very niche group.
But if you're James Gunn and you're trying to make the new Iron Man to launch your new universe, and like, wouldn't you not include such niche things in the central plot points of your film?
I think they're just going back to the core. Like, I would think they're like, if we get the core to show up and fall in love with this, then we're good. Then we're good.
Yeah.
And they don't care about the rest of us, because as I said before, and I like what I said,
let me repeat, because I'm so smart.
Dare I say again? I as a film guy, quote quote, as a movie lover, I can't give a film credit for something that's not in the film.
Yeah.
And I think that's majority of the legwork that's done for this film is done contextually somewhere else. And I'm left with what I saw and not with what I generally know.
Yeah.
And what I saw there's a lot missing.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
That to me is a weird miss. Like, that to me is the kind of thing that James Gunn, who I know is a smart guy, like shouldn't bank on. Like, that's weird. That's weird. My other thing, Crypto, Jimmy Olsen, and then I had already turned myself over to the turn. I'd submitted myself to the tone and the way this film was going. I said, I'm just gonna have a good time. Our old turn your brain off. I'm having fun. It's a summer superhero blockbuster. I'm gonna try not to be belabored by the expectations I had going into this film to somehow transcend the genre. So I'd done all that, but I still had to turn to my wife in the theater and roll my eyes when Mr. Terrific says something to the effect of, "You fly my T-sphere. The controls are easy, very intuitive." And then Lois Lane, for the rest of the film, flies a spaceship. Very central to the film's plot. She's just flying a spaceship. This news reporter, like, that's really stupid. Like that, like, there's no way around that. And and most things I think are subjective. You can disagree. That is objectively stupid. This is the first time we are meeting this character. She is a news reporter at a newspaper. Don't worry, this technology that's totally unparalleled, this spaceship, it's very intuitive. And then she's gonna fly it for the rest of the movie. That's dumb. That's dumb, you guys. That's really dumb.
Well, she struggled a bit.
Yeah, they fell off the building. It's funny. Stupid.
Yeah. We can't ask this movie to be something that it was never intended to be, and it makes me sad.
Yeah,
because it's one step closer to the death of movies. Like, superhero movies is all we have left.
These can't be. But I agree. I'm sad too. Like, good. I want it to be great because I wanted it to excite me. Yeah, I really did.
Yeah, I remember going to the theater. I was I don't want to say nervous, but like very anticipatory. Yeah, like just very like, oh wow, maybe it's gonna be something. Like maybe it's. And I go, yeah, it's just a fucking average superhero movie like that.
Was it could have been so 5 years better than The Flash? Was it so much better than The Flash?
No.
No, I mean, it
No.
was better than The Flash. Was it so much better? And The Flash is awful. Like, it was like my worst movie of that year. Like, was it better or worse than any of the 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies? It was worse than all 3. And I wouldn't even tell you that the third one was very good. But, like, I thought going in, James Gunn, like, James Gunn clearly has a reverence and a respect for this world. He's saying all the right things about Superman in particular, who is a hero that I don't personally have any great connection with. I don't have some thorough, deep-seated history with of reading the books or watching all the movies multiple times or whatever. But, like, he does. And he was able to take the Guardians of the Galaxy, which are a bunch of nobodies, a bunch of nobody Marvel heroes, and make them compelling and interesting. And for my money, as I've told you, maybe the most emotionally impactful moment of all of the MCU is Michael Rooker in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 asking if Mary Poppins is cool, and he says, "Yeah, Mary Poppins is the coolest." And he goes, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all."
You look like Mary Poppins. Is he cool? Hell yeah, he's cool. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
As he's flying up it, like, James Gunn's ability to combine outright comedy with, like, deep emotional impact, like, that to me is a skill that most people do not have. And that Mary Poppins line, I know you probably think I'm overblowing it, but that to me is literally like, I'll cry at that scene, and it's a comedy. It's a comedy scene. It's a joke, and I'm crying because it's emotionally impactful. I thought that he would bring a lot of that. Like, I thought he'd be on his A game in this Superman movie. And I would tell you that I think all of the emotional moments fell flat. There was not that balance of idealistic heroism and comedy and emotion at all. Like, that sucks. Yeah. That's a bummer. That's a bummer.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't do any of the legwork for the emotional stuff to really hit. It's in my opinion, it doesn't do the legwork it needs for me to care about the Lois Lane relationship when they're circling around one another and floating up and kissing. You're just supposed to, like, feel like that's a big moment, and it just doesn't feel like a big moment at all. Yeah, it doesn't. It feels like, of course, they're gonna kiss.
That's how it's gonna end.
Like. Yeah. And the parent stuff. Another thing that I feel like they're just, like, underdeveloped, like that him looking back at his Ma and Pa Kent montage and feeling like this level of satisfaction is, like, thinly veiled. Like, it's like there's no real groundwork to make that moment, like, whereas, like, you want to play that video again of your parents and you think it's one thing and it's like, oh no, it's this. That is supposed to be like a wow moment. And I just go, oh, he's just, where did this come from? Like, why is this important to him? Did it just he's just forgotten about his original parents?
Well, no,
like, that doesn't matter anymore.
I get what they were doing there. Like, I actually really liked that moment, and for half of a second.
I get what they're trying. I get the point of it.
Yeah.
But it's underdeveloped is my point for it to emotionally hit me. I know I'm not that smart, but I understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I understand that him and Lois Lane are in love, but it doesn't hit me here.
Yeah, totally.
Because it doesn't do the groundwork is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I appreciated that moment at the end. Like, the idea of that. It's like, oh, family is who you choose and nurture over nature, whatever. Like, you're forging your own path forward, based on who you want to be. Like, I get that. And that moment where I started to see they were showing old family movies, I liked that. And that was the closest thing to an emotional, like, resonant moment that I had throughout. But then this is, like, maybe nitpicky for some, but, like, and I'm sorry if this is sort of a slight pivot, but, like, those actors who played his parents, the dad is 65 years old, the mom is 69, and they're, like, aged up, I would say, in those scenes of Ma and Pa Kent on the farm. And then they just put those people in, like, shitty wigs for that home. Like, that takes me out of it. So I'm not just trying to be critical for the sake of being critical, but, like, that dad, that actor, that guy's he's getting Social Security. And all you do is you just put, like, a shitty brown wig on him. Like,
He's young now.
Just have a younger guy. Like, I'm genuinely curious. Are they afraid we're not gonna know what?
Yes.
Like they think audiences are that stupid that we're not gonna understand that this is baby Clark Kent with his younger parents?
Yes. 1000%. I can absolutely hear someone being like, they'll never know. It needs to be that guy.
You need to show that
so
guy.
People can just blatantly know, like, there is no question. We have to remove the 1000%. So,
if a film thinks that little of you, it's not really worthy of your respect at the end of the day. And in my opinion, like, you think I'm an idiot? Where, like, it's better to put a 65-year-old dude with, like, I'm not gonna insult the man, but he looks older, and he's got a shitty brown toupee on to be 30-year-old Clark Kent. Like, this Superman's supposed to only be 25 years old. Like, so they could have had those parents be in their 50s and it'd be fine, but no, they chose elderly parents. Like, and then it's weird. It's a weird choice. It's a weird choice. This is your big Iron Man movie. This is your launch. Nail the details.
I don't think it launched. I really was disappointed at the launch part of it. Like, I just don't think it launched anything. I just think it was a movie.
Yeah.
It was just the middle chapter of a book you read that didn't go anywhere but that chapter. I don't know. I'm gonna beat a dead horse, but I don't think it launched anything. That was a big disappointment for me. I'll tell you what I thought was one of the worst parts of the film, much like what some of the parts that you're describing. I had some real Wonder Woman 1984 vibes.
Oh no!
When he was given that speech about being human.
Oh, at the end? Yeah.
Yes. That I was, and again, the emotional stuff is what fell flat for me. I didn't feel how important it was for him to be human and to feel human other than him just saying it at that point in time. And again, I'm not saying other people have a relationship with it and know Superman inside and out, and that's like his bit, and that's his shtick, and great. But in this movie, I don't feel like that was something that was really, again, like developed of like the importance of being human and how that is his greatest strength is being human.
Yeah.
Where and please tell me in the comments where in this film specifically that was sort of showcased of how it's impactful to him or important to him to feel human.
It was really just only in that farm scene with his parents, right? Where it's just like, that's where it's discussed. And he's struggling because I like the idea that he thinks his life was set up to be one way. And then he finds out, like, to me, that's a great turn that Bradley Cooper and his mom are like, actually take over and rule the world. And like, that's a cool concept that doesn't really get explored enough in his own personal growth. So I agree with you on that totally.
Yeah, but even that conversation on the porch is what you're referring to. I'm assuming with
that's
his
all
dad.
there is.
But I don't even think they're like talking about like human nature. About like human nature. It's just saying like accountability. Like you have control over who you are.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about like the speech he made. To me, it's not like directly one-to-one. It's about like you can be whoever you want to be. Like you get to decide, Clark.
Yeah.
You're in control. You don't have to be what your parents wanted you to be. It's not about like your flaws or your humanity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And then I was like, so you're shoehorning like this positive message to me, and it just felt like
and it was so
Wonder
it was
Woman
written in a way that
1984
final delivery was written in a way that was very like on the nose and just like very ham-fisted, where it's like, I know it's genuine, and like I don't even hate the message. Like I get the message, I like the message. The imperfections of humanity, of our own humanity, are like what make us special and what make us powerful. And immigrants coming, aliens, like I get the metaphor coming from outside, and we need to, like interact and learn from each other, and like our imperfections are what make us human, which is what makes us great, that we're always trying to be better. Blah, blah, blah. Like I get it. But the literal writing of that scene was so like ham-fisted on the nose, like I'm a human and I'm imperfect and that's what makes me, that like I almost laughed. Like I smiled for sure. Like I did one of those like, like oh no. This is
It
the
got
moment.
an eye roll from me.
This is the
I was
moment.
just
Like,
okay, all right. Every emotional beat is kind of met with like, okay,
yeah.
all right, and not like, to your point with those Guardian movies. I definitely you feel it. You're like, oh man, this is something. So he knows how to do it.
Yeah.
he knows how to do it. Just didn't do it here.
And so then it makes me wonder, and this is just like purely hypothetical, hypothesizing of just like, is that him trying to play it too safe? Is that the sort of like infamous Warner Brothers Zaslav machine pushing to be like, make this as fucking universal and simple and easily digestible as possible? Like, what is it that leads a guy who we both know or create like, because you got hired to a position of being a suit, are you just a suit now? Like there was so much writing on this film being not just like good, but like pretty good to great, and not just pretty good to great, but at least introducing a new element of what this genre can be. And if that's returning to a more like simple, optimistic, love-centric, you know what I mean? Like 70s, kitschy even vibe, like that's fine, that can work. But that can't just be the only thing. Like what would be really like inverting this thing is like focusing on the characters in a deep and meaningful way and making us really attached to Clark Kent, like this new Clark Kent. We want to feel everything, and his relationship with Lois has to be like the most important thing, and what's grounding his humanity, and like not giant frog monsters getting poked in the eye by the Green Lantern's inventions while he's like hamming up for the camera, like that. Like you can do both, but you got to nail the first one, and they didn't. They didn't nail the first one. They just did the second one.
Yeah, but we're talking, I couldn't agree with you more, and we're talking about making the best movie possible, and I just don't think that's the priority here. I don't think it's like we're gonna tell a great story and make a great movie. We're gonna do superhero stuff that superhero people and comic book people will just love.
Wouldn't you think that's what they would set out to do? Like if you're James Gunn, don't you think James Gunn wouldn't be like, let's just check the boxes and do the algorithm shit? Like, I don't know James Gunn. Shocker. I haven't met him personally. I don't know where his heart lies. But like,
I don't think it's algorithm. I think it is research on the core audience. They're like, I just think we're appealing to this niche group of people. I think it's like they're getting back to basics. That's what I think. So it's not about making a great movie. It's about like what do these people want to see? This group, this subset of people want to see. And we're going to start there and make these people love it. The thing that I want to say is I think they're in real trouble because I believe that they have to gross $700 million to turn a profit, something. Yeah. $700-800 million. And I don't think they're going to do it. I don't see this movie doing it because of how safe I don't even know if safe's the right word, but how like close to the vest that they played it. Yeah, just like it doesn't, I'm not going around. We got to see it early. What they need to make $800 million is, because we're special, is you and I come on this program and say, you gotta see this, guys.
It's incredible.
Me going into work today and be like, guys, last night I got
Mad
a preview.
Max Fury Road, Top Gun Maverick, Superman. It is a cinematic experience, unlike anything else.
But that's not happening. No. Like I don't think that that's happening at a wide enough scale to get people excited about not only this movie, but the future. And that's what I keep saying. It's this interconnected universe that I think is a real driver that they're not taking seriously enough.
Yeah.
They're just, if we were like, you don't even know what's to come, but I can't wait to see it. But no.
Well, and it felt unique and special. Like, did this movie feel unique and special?
No.
And like, and I know I'm the broken record about practical effects and practical sets and the art of fucking film, but like, I'm not even talking about that, which would have helped. But like, just in general, did it feel unique and special? Because those things today make things feel unique and special. And this film did not feel that way at all. It felt so templatized and formulaic and just CGI battles in total darkness of the fucking the realm, the pocket universe, and there's a river of pixels, like just like noise, just noise. Oh, there's a fake baby, like a clearly CGI baby that's green that I'm supposed to care about. Like, like it's nothing special. It's not terrible. It's worth checking out for like a laugh and for the pop culture relevance, but it's not a launching pad for a fucking cinematic universe. It's just not.
That's gonna go 10 years or 5 years to culminate into some big event where the Justice League finally gets together. Like, do you want to see a movie with the Justice Gang? I don't. Do you want to see a standalone Green Lantern movie? I don't. Like, I don't leave that. But like, do you want to see more Hawk Girl? Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm good with
no
Hawk
offense
Girl.
to Isabella Merced. She's great.
Yeah, it's not about her performance.
Yeah.
The film is not inspiring this amount of confidence in the future of what this could potentially be. And I think that was the most important part of this.
If nothing else, it needed to do that. And this is just like, oh, okay, at best. That was fun.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Totally fine.
Keith, patronize the people and make them feel better about what you just said.
What? You guys are doing great.
You're doing great. And I'm sorry. Keith's sorry. I'm not sorry. Keith's sorry.
I've never not been sorry.
We wish that things were better. So that we could get on here and be more positive. But hey, at least our country is doing well. What list? What are you talking about? There's no list.
What are you talking about? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
We're joking.
Can we start over? Is this?
Stop it. That was a big joke.